Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones experienced an explosion. The only thing that turned up was the fire brigade and a few police officers. When a monument is blown up, people involved in anti-terrorist organizations, military, etc., would be on ground. That in itself is revealing. And openly, in daylight, the rest of the Guidestones were bulldozed, demolished. Okay? All this simply means that it's a demolition. What are the ramifications of that demolition of the Georgia Guidestones? What this is actually about. The Georgia Guidestones, and I've done presentations on it, talks about control. It talks about control because whether it's mankind or whether it's humans or any of the other subspecies, they are not in control of themselves. As long as you people out there are not in control, and listen very carefully. If you are in control of yourself, you will control your government. Since you are not in control of your government, the problems start. How can you not be in control of your own servants? The judiciary are there to service you, and the corporations are there to benefit you. What went wrong? That, of course, is the history of mankind for about 100 years or so. Coming back to the ramifications. Since the Georgia Guidestones have been demolished, it is a controlled demolition. Since they are destroyed and demolished, it just simply means, at least for the Americans, that you are gaining control of your lives and of your governments, the judiciary and the legislature. However, sleeping on one's laurel leaves will get you killed. What does that mean? You have a simple principle called compensation theory. Meaning, oh well, if it's all done and dusted and they've demolished the Georgia Guidestones, then we can just go back to sleep and hopefully nothing will go wrong and the governments will behave themselves. Let me make it very clear. My subscribers are very active, is the normal fiction word. But the rest of yous, Americans, Canadians, whoever it is, you've mostly got your heads up, stuck up your backside. And you will accept any status quo at any cost. Witness what happened to you since 2009-11. So, recapping, the ramifications this is a common display that the power of the people returns back to the people. The judiciary, the legislature, as well as the executives are servicing you. And for the rest of the 280 million Americans or the rest of the world that's out there, 99% of you has done nothing to bring that about. It's only a small percentage that never gave up, that did what they did. It's an open public advertising to say, you folks don't need controlling. But for the 99% of you, it's almost certain there will be other mechanisms that will control you. I've heard some incredibly devastating opinions by people, which is the mainstream now. Whether it's cross-gender, mutilation by doctors. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Let's just have a look. I don't want to breach copyright, so this is under fair market usage. As you can see, somebody was there filming the explosion. I checked live cam to see what's going on. Live cameras are nowhere around. So somebody somewhere was recording this explosion, and now it's being televised. Any cameras, ladies and gentlemen, that is facing the Georgia Guidestones 24 hours a day normally is linked to things like live cam, which is free source and free accessing. I checked it, but I could not find anything. The very fact, just like 9/11, just like so many of those so-called terrorist acts, as it were, it's an actor's act, tells me, open display, that this is controlled demolition. Okay? No anti-terrorist police or anything like that is there. Just a simple demolition job. I don't wish to, break copyright, and I think that'll be enough. But certainly, you must be able to recognize by now what is a controlled demolition and what is not. Remember, everything that you see on the television, newspapers, and etc. are comedy sketches or Shakespearean acts. This includes all of your news stations. If they are not under the penalty of perjury, and if it's not done by a journalist or a correspondent with an oath in his hand, then it's just a Shakespearean play. If you are believing things on the back of a television news or broadcast, you're being conned. They have to be correspondences. They have to be journalists. And they have to be under their oath. Otherwise, it's just a show. Whether it's a tragedy, Shakespearean tragedy, a Shakespearean comedy, or contemporary laughter. The 9/11 was just contemporary mischief. That's all. The whole world believed such a thing happened because they saw it on TV. Whatever happened to first-hand knowledge, first-hand witness, eyewitness? Okay, that is that. You folks talk amongst yourselves, do some videos, especially you subscribers, giving your insight, your take on the Georgia Guidestones and the ramifications, so you may add value to what you already know and what other people know, so you become a community. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let's go to a different subject, shall we? This Sunday, on the Tricks and Traps, you will be taught on how parsing syntax works. That is the mathematical interface on how language is corrupted. Since it's mathematically formulated, nobody can argue with it. A course of that nature has never been put together, ever. Okay? And those people attending it that wish to go through the examination of it, the so-called final exam, you will be certified with witnesses to say that you have competent levels, or should say minimum competent levels of parsing syntax grammar, which is globally recognized. Minimum standard, I think, is just above 80%. Most of the people that go through these types of courses, most of the people that will be going through the course will probably achieve round about 95% or more. Why is that? Because it's mathematics. You understand? That is that. Now, a little while back, I said to everybody, I'm going to deal with obsolescence, engineered obsolescence. And I made the broadcast and people participated. Since then, nobody has followed me up on it to say, Mark, why haven't you sorted it out? Why is that? My hope is that you folks are forever alert, being aware, and that you follow up on things. Okay? The reason why you haven't followed it up on with me and contributed with me, giving me more reasons, etc., is because just like your presidents and prime ministers, your judiciary, executive, and your legislator, you let them get away with it. Don't you think you owe it to yourself to follow me through as I need to ban engineered obsolescence? Because we have agreed, you as a community, that it is not beneficial for anybody apart from the corporations. And the corporations are supposed to be there for your benefit, not theirs. The sole purpose of a corporation is to be of benefit to mankind. As long as they keep proving that people are not people, and mankind is not mankind but humans, or this new word that keeps coming about, cross-gender and transgender and all this kind of nonsense, all you're doing is vacating your position as a man or a woman. It's nobody's business how you dress, like what you dress, women's clothes, men's clothes. That's nobody's business. If you haven't understood this, and if you haven't understood gay rights has got nothing to do with sexuality, but your right to be happy, then I'll leave it up to you. That is that. I'm going to do something for my subscribers and for all of my subscribers, and I might actually do it in the private for all of my subscribers, as well as my Tricks and Traps students. And what I'm going to reveal is very simple. I'm going to reveal to you who God is. Yeah, that's right, you heard. I'm going to reveal to you who God is. Some of you most probably figured it out. It's always an eye-opener to find out why the Creator is never called the Creator, or is creation called creation. There are reasons why. So just to repeat myself, I might do this in a private for my subscribers only and my students, and there I will reveal who God is. Remember, I also revealed to you that God and gods have bank accounts. Those bank accounts can be found on my website with their names and autographs and thumbprints, etc. Really simple as that. When you get to this level, as you folks have, very few things surprises you as to how screwed up and how pathetic these half-witted gods and gods are. So, repeating myself, I will reveal to you who God is. I'm actually looking at some of the, what do you call this, chat box. Most of you are getting it, yeah? It's revealing itself. God is a jealous God. That's a subhuman condition. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. Did you know that? The Old Testament God says it's a jealous God, and then tells you in the same book of the 7 deadly. Actually, it's not the 7 deadly sins. I don't believe is actually in there. But we know the characteristics of subhumans. You see, what you think of God is a billion times more powerful than what you read in the Bible or any other of those religious books. And what those books do is that they destroy your ability to access this thing called a God. The religious books make sure that you don't ever understand what God is or who God is. Because if you did, the religious books and the religious institutions will just simply crumble away. It just requires a little bit of tweaking. And I know you subscribers out there already figured it out. I know you have, because I can feel it and I can read so much of it. Yeah, in the chat box. But for those people that want to hear it, you do need to email me to say that you want to be part of it, and it will be broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, etc. as something private. Okay? I might do it publicly. But for the time being, until next Thursday, which will be 10:30 p.m. my time, which is so-called, sorry, I beg your pardon, which is so-called UK time. Let me just have a little drink. Okay. I think I'm essentially done. Keep your eye on the ball. Just because the Georgia Guidestones have been demolished under controlled demolition, not dismantled, but rather demolished with a bulldozer, tells you a lot. Look, I was asked once, do I get things wrong sometimes? Yeah, of course I do. Like, for example, like just at the beginning of this year, I went and said, everybody's now out of trouble and life is going to be brilliant. What turned out is that in Australia, in some parts of the United States, Canada, it got so bloody worse that I had to withdraw my words. I really thought things could not get any worse. What can you possibly get worse than locking people down for nearly 18 months, lying to them, cheating them about all manner of things, fuel prices, the whole goddamn thing. That's me being wishful, I suppose, underestimating how wicked these corporations and these people are that wish to grab onto and stay in power. It's like a parasite in your anus. It just wants to stay in your anus because that's the most comfortable place it knows, eating your defecation, which is what the banks have proven themselves to do. Look, that is that. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye, folks.